Oh, there we go. Hey, 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 hey. What's going on, Facebook? What's going on,
What's happening,
YouTube?
everybody? What's happening?
Welcome to the Three Black Guys Show.
The three black guys.
Tree,
Tres Manos.
tres monos, tres
Tres
amigos.
Manos, Tres Negros.
Tres
All of
amigos.
that, yeah, all of that good stuff.
All of that.
Yeah, man. I have left my cell phone in the kitchen.
You
Well,
go get it, man. You gotta get
You need to
yourself.
go get it.
I can go get it, man. I can go
Well,
get it.
send for it.
I can't. Nobody's here with me. I am alone in the house tonight.
Say what?
Yeah, man, I'm alone right now. I got the house to myself. I got the house to myself.
Ooh, house to myself. Thank you.
Oh,
Jesus.
yeah.
Oh, Shabba. Look at that boy. You came up loud.
Oh, my bad.
No, not you. I had I logged in over here on the iPad.
Okay, word up. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Three Black Guys Show. We are back in the house. It is Sunday night. We in the house, man. You know what that means. We are in here. Let me give my disclaimer. We do all the views and opinions our views voiced here are only about Three Black Guys Show and no other entity that we may represent or work for. Yo, what's going on, guys? Man, I am excited to be here tonight. I don't know about y'all.
I'm excited. I'm excited. Lot going on.
Lot going on, man. What's going on,
Oh.
Jay McMillan?
A whole lot going on, man. My goodness.
Yeah, man.
It's so much. It's so much popping off.
So what I want you guys to do when you log in, I want you to like and share the video, please. If you would like and share the video, please. We are trying to get the viewership up, man, and we appreciate everybody that logs in, man, and rocks with us for about 45 to an hour, whatever that time is.
An
hour, 15 minutes.
Yeah, what I'm saying? We were just gonna do this. Hey, can y'all believe this, black guys? We were just gonna do this for a half an hour, man.
Yeah, I think we tried it. What, one video?
One.
Right.
And then realized that wasn't gonna fly.
So let's jump into the week's news, guys. There's a lot going on. There's a whole lot going on. Can I say this though?
Sure.
Outside of the riots, man, I am happy to see the unification of all races, beliefs. And, you know, when the Amish come out, dude, that's
serious.
That's serious, man.
Yeah,
that's don't typically come out for anything.
Right.
So that's
when they load up, you know it's something going on.
Right. You know what I'm saying? You got Jacob and them, man, and you know they don't got no radio, they don't have no TV.
Right.
They don't have
I'm trying to figure out how they knew. Somebody got an iPhone.
It's
like, how they even know? You know what I'm saying? What's happening?
Was it a subset of the Amish? Because you know they have some certain subsets. They're Amish.
No, what I saw, these was the straight horse and buggy, straight, you know, Jedediah in them.
Right.
You know Jedediah in them.
Right.
I like that. That was good.
It may have been, but my thing is somebody got an iPhone or something. One of them children, but when they got an iPhone or something, they snuck in there, man, and let Jedediah and them know what was happening.
Right.
You can't live in this world though, man. You can't, especially let's just say the US. You cannot live in the US and not know what's happening. You have to literally be living under a rock. So that news travels, and you know they have also what they the Amish also have this thing where they cut them loose at a certain age. I forget what it's called.
Oh yeah.
They cut them loose into the world, and you know, cut them loose and they come back.
Yeah,
they do their thing.
So it may have translated. You know, it's ways for it to get back to the Amish community. I have a little experience with the Amish community. So having driven trucks when I first started driving trucks. What's up, Jay McMillan? What up, cuz? He in the house.
No doubt. I am just excited, man. I am pleased by to see the nations coming together, man. France, Italy, London, Switzerland.
And I'm talking about these folks cutting up. I mean, they cutting up.
They cut UK. The UK, they pulling down statues of slave traders. Edward Colston. It's a statue in in the UK in London, and he was a known slave trader, philanthropist, whatever else they want to put on him. But he was a slave trader during those times. They pulled his statue down.
Is that the one they threw in the river or threw in some
That's
water?
the one they threw in the river. But before they threw it in the river, somebody kneeled and put their knee on his neck. I ain't mad at him.
I ain't mad at him.
Not at all.
Dude, that is amazing that what's happening here is circulating around the world, and people are protesting around the world in support of what's happening right here. That's awesome.
Right.
See,
I think the world has been waiting for America to finally just wake up.
Yes.
We have been known as the sleeping giant for a long time. We hadn't really knocked nobody out since Hiroshima.
Well, we ain't really
had. What I mean? We really have. And so we had our riots in the 60s and stuff, but I just mean America has been a sleeping giant as far as the world is concerned, politically and in terms of the people uprising behind the cause. But it took, I hate to say it, it is what it is. I think when they saw white people involved in it, they were like, oh, this might be something.
So what tripped me out also, man, is that they had a protest in Mountain Brook.
Yes, they did. They absolutely did.
If you're not from Birmingham,
Brook.
If you don't understand, Mountain Brook here in Birmingham, for the people that might be listening that's not from here, Mountain Brook is old money. That's old Birmingham money. I mean,
white money.
Generational money.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Of course, when we say old money, we understand it's old white money, but those are estates, and you go to Mountain Brook, it's sections of Mountain Brook. That's a part of town that you really wasn't meant to see.
Right.
It's tucked away in the hills of Birmingham, and old money.
Right.
Mountain Brook, Steve.
And you will get pulled over and asked if you're a certain color. What are you doing here?
Yeah. I've been pulled over there, and they've asked simply that. Sir, what you got going on over here? Like, man, I'm just driving through, man. Do I need to go around? If I need to go around, I have no problem going, Right, he gave me that look like I ain't gonna say that, but yeah, you need to go the other way.
You need to go around. Mm-hmm. So let me ask you a question. Start the night off, guys. Are the protests working? Do you think that the protests are working?
Absolutely. Not only the protests, but the rioting.
So do you think it's here's the question. And here's the question for everybody that's listening, and please comment, let us know. Do you think the protests are working, or do you think it's because of the rioting that things are getting done?
I think it's twofold.
I'll be right back.
I think maybe the protests kind of opened up some eyes, but then the rioting said, okay, they serious. You know what I'm saying? The rioting was kind of like, okay, these folks ain't playing right now. They ain't kidding. Maybe we need to start looking at some stuff.
Right.
Now
I agree. Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
Nah, do I think that it's working? You think the protests are working? I think everything has its place. Even the rioting has its place. It's over with. I mean, I'm not saying it's over with because I don't know if it's still looting and all that stuff, but the rioting had its place. I think that, my opinion, protest on would not have done it because we've always protested.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I think that that rioting is what woke people up.
What you think, Steve?
Reverend?
I think Reverend. I think
Reverend?
that the protest has worked, but in hand in hand with the riots, unfortunately, it got some stuff done. Now check this out. We've got arrest, and we've got arrest of the 4 police officers, and we've got charges against those said
We
four.
have-
And that has not been done ever that I can remember. That we've had that swiftness of law and justice to come across. I've not seen it. And so, is the protest working? Yes, I believe the protest is working, and I think that unfortunately, you got to get loud with folk.
You do.
You got to get loud with folks sometimes to get their attention. And I think it got their attention. We got somebody. Let's see. I think it's the fact that George Floyd was killed.
George Floyd was killed the same way Eric Barnes or Eric Garner.
Probably Eric Garner
was killed, and there was no resistance from both men. I think she meant Eric Garner.
Yeah, Eric Garner. But I mean, that's. I mean, sometimes, man, it takes stuff like that to kind of get people to see into listen. Right, rioting turned the lights on. It did. It absolutely did. And you know, if that's what it takes, then you know, I mean,
so be it.
Right. I mean, my thing is, if people want to stop the riot, stop these folks from doing stupid stuff. Because, like I say, people have done it, you know, peacefully. Kaepernick, Nip, and folk had a problem with that.
Yeah, so Beyonce did a show. It's halftime.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like, okay, well, we tried it the peaceful way y'all keep talking about. Y'all had a problem. So right now we finna tear some stuff up. Maybe you'll get it then. That we just ain't, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like, even with the peaceful protests, how do you have a protest against police brutality, and as the police, you respond with police brutality?
Right.
It's like, man, y'all not getting it. So yeah, we got to tear some stuff up because y'all just y'all not hearing us. You know what I'm saying? So
it's absolutely amazing to me, man. I saw somewhere. I'm gonna still check up on this. That in order to be a beautician, you got to do at least 1,500 some odd hours.
So many hours, right? So many hundreds of hours,
right? And then as a cop, literally, it's almost 800 or less hours training to be a cop. So here's another question I want to ask you guys, man. Do you think? And here, I'm gonna say it like this. We are wanting and needing police reform. Do you think the protest is going to have an effect on police reform, or do you think that's going to be in vain? Because I want to follow up all these questions with what's the next step. And I've labeled this episode "Return of the Black." So, out of the protests, do you think that we're going to get everything we need out of the protesting that we're doing now? I want to say hello to Eli, Tim, Carroll, and Carolyn. Hey, how you doing? But go ahead, guys. Do you think that protests are we going to have a better reform on our police nationwide? And this is for our people that are listening. Also, you guys can answer also.
Well, I think yes. I think it has to be. I think the police have to start policing themselves. I think it will be that. But I also think we have to keep, how can I say it? We have to stay on them in our local areas. We have to stay on our police department. If your police department is a corrupt department, you have to do those things necessary to keep the pressure on them so that they do. Yes, I do believe there will be reform in one form or the other. Now, I do think, I don't know if any of you guys heard this, but the Minneapolis mayor got the walk of shame. He got kicked out of a protest rally. You guys haven't heard that?
Yeah, I saw that.
The Minneapolis mayor got shamed and asked to leave a protest rally for not agreeing to defund or disband the police department. Now, to me, that was crazy. I think he early on came out and started doing, for whatever reason, because I'm hoping because it was just right, he came out and started doing right by the people from the beginning.
Right.
And he's made himself visible during this time, while all of the protests, the funeral, and all of this is going on. Hopefully because it's the right thing and not because he knows it's a voting year coming up soon. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But hopefully, I'm saying hopefully, but it's always that, I know election year is coming up for me. But hopefully because it's the right thing. But at this rally, they asked the Minneapolis mayor, and the lady said it's a yes or no question. Are you going to defund and disband the Minneapolis Police Department? And when she said it, I'm like, well, you have to have police.
Right.
If something goes on, who will be there to address it?
Right.
You know what I mean? So to me, it was protest gone too far. You understand what I'm saying? Or irrational demand of the mayor. And so when he said, I can't actively say that I would disband or defund the police department, they started booing him and shame. I'm like, hold on, this guy came out early in the game and started making roles to say, hey, I didn't agree with this. I don't agree with this. I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do what I can to make sure, that the Minneapolis Police Department is on task.
Right.
But that was wrong in my opinion. That's what I have to say.
So go ahead.
Well, here's the thing. When they talk about defunding the police department, it's not like people are saying, okay, don't give them no money. What it is that most police departments are given a lot of money to protect the people. They're given a lot of money for training. They're given a lot of money to do things that they just aren't doing. So what people are saying is, if they're getting millions and millions of dollars and they're supposed to be our protection, but yet and still they're acting as a military, then we have to stop that part of it. We have to make sure that they are policing.
Yeah.
And right now they're not policing. You know what I'm saying? Right now, the police in this country are the agitators in a lot of stuff. I watched what unfolded in Huntsville the other day, and to watch it unfold was absolutely ridiculous. To see people literally just standing with signs and singing and chanting, and then watching the police surround them and start firing tear gas and rubber bullets was just absolutely ridiculous. They literally acted as a military. That type of funding for the police has to stop because it's not working. They're not doing it. They're not doing it. They're not for the people right now. And I don't know if they've ever been for the people.
Is that a funding issue, though? Is there the funding issue or is that a training issue?
It's a funding issue because they get money for training for this purpose. They get money to be trained on how to handle situations. You had the situations in Atlanta where the cops tased those two young people in the car. Yes. That was these were supposed to be highly trained police officers that couldn't recognize that there was two scared kids in a car that was panicking.
Right.
And so your reaction to that is tase them because they didn't comply. Those kids were scared to death. Right now, they are in the middle of a riot or a protest against police brutality, and here the police are up on them. They're scared. And the only way these so-called highly trained officers could have thought to react was to tase these kids. If the funding,
by defunding, would defunding make that better?
Would make what better? If we're gonna give, if they're gonna, if it's gonna stay the same, take the money from them and redirect it. If they're not gonna change it, take the money and redirect it someplace else. So if we got to deal with it anyway, I'd rather them deal with it with less money, and let's take that money and let's put it in the community relations or something, whatever. But it's got to be something that's going to benefit people, because right now it's just not happening.
Right.
So you do have some extremists that just want to disband the police altogether. Of course, that's not.
You can't do
That's
that.
not going to happen.
You can't do that. That's not feasible.
But I think defunding certain aspects of the police, I think, is a good idea.
Okay.
I want to, if you guys don't mind, I want to show a video and of how police should be policing themselves.
Okay.
I put this on Facebook the other day, and I want to just share this. Can I share it, guys? Is that all right with you guys?
It's going to cost you about $20.
Right.
I don't care.
Okay. In that case.
Right. Go ahead.
Is that the right one? I'm gonna show him later. I don't want to show him
Like that.
but we're gonna listen to that.
We'll talk about that.
We're gonna talk about that.
Let us.
Let's see, where is this other one? Is this the one I want? No, I don't want him. Stop doing that.
Well, it's user error. It has nothing to do with the computer.
Boy, if you was as funny as you smelled.
Oh, Mark says no training. No training. Police academy do not train you to murder citizens. Police joining police force to harm people. Oh, the police are joining the police force to harm people.
Right.
Not training. Police academy did not train you to murder citizens. Police, I guess he's saying people join the police force to hurt people. Some people do. Some people, I think, who were bullied and were, what we call lames as in high school, they were lames, may join the police force.
That's true, because I wanted to bring on a police officer that I know up in DC, man, and I was gonna get his take on it, man, but he really couldn't come in like he wanted to. Mm-hmm. So, and explain and he's a black police officer, and he was gonna explain how he feels about it. You know what I mean? And that's kind of what I want. So, if you guys know any black police officers that want to be on the show, let me know. We'll put them on. Check this out, guys. Have y'all seen this video? Let me know.
I think I have.
Now check out this sister. She's giving him the business. Yes. Thank you. So we need more sisters like this.
Oh, so the black police, I haven't seen that. The sister went off on him.
The sister went straight ham on him, dude. And apparently she must be a person of power, because she gave him the true business, dude. And that's what we need, man. As we're protesting, we need police to police themselves.
Right.
Yes.
We're going to need people in positions of power to help police the police. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
We need people that are more. We need more people in power to handle that. And so here's my next question to you guys, man. And I love that we're getting these people in, guys. Please like and share the video if you can. Let us know where you're from. Hit us up. Let us know you're in the house and you're watching. Here's a question for you.
Welcome to the show, sir.
Have y'all been paying attention to what's going on in DC? And I'm talking about with Donald Trump, with him outside. Can I deal with the outside of the church right quick? And then let's deal with Donald Trump first.
Air out of the room.
Well, I was finna say, what we finna talk about now?
We finna talk about your boy.
Okay.
So
we finna talk about your boy, Jane.
So he wants to do a photo. He wants to do a photo op outside of a church. There were people already peacefully protesting outside of this church. It was already gotten hit, already got burned. St. John's.
Mm-hmm.
And so they fired tear gas, or gas, as the White House is now saying. It's not really tear gas. It was some type of gas.
Right.
That they shot into peaceful protest so this man can get out in front of an empty, shuttered church to hold up an upside down Bible for a photo op. Now we know clearly he's talking to his base. Guys, give me your take on it, and then we'll go move on to something else while we're staying in DC. Go ahead.
Mine is shorter. James, I know will have more to say. Let me go, James. It was strictly for a photo op, and you know it, I know it, and we know it. Now here's the thing. He was holding the Bible upside down. Does that speak to something satanic? Because you know, if you turn the cross upside down, that's a satanic thing.
Right. Well, it's upside down and backwards.
And backwards.
Yeah.
So what's really going on here? That's the conspiracy theorist in me. Is it something else afoot? But we all know it was just for a photo op. This dude has zero coup whatsoever. That's my go ahead, James.
Well, so we are in an election year. He is the current president running a campaign. End of story. I need to take a picture. This is the best way for me to do it. I'm not smart enough to make sure the Bible is held correct. And I'm not smart enough to maybe go to a church where there's actually people. So for me, that was typical Donald Trump.
What's up, Alan?
Right.
It wasn't like it didn't surprise me. I wasn't upset by it. It was like, it's Donald Trump. I expected at some point for him to do some sort of silly photo op. That's just what he does, man. It's, you know, I think again, you're dealing with a man who doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
Like these protests and riots and all that kind of stuff, man. He don't really care about this stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, it didn't move him. He doesn't have any compassion for it. It is what it is. He told the governors do something about it. Y'all little weak, sorry behinds, and that was it. You know what I'm saying? So,
but
what baffles me as one as a minister, and two as a black person.
Okay.
What do you think what is that? And I guess I'm asking the wrong question, because there's nothing to gain. He's not gaining any black people. He is not gaining any black people at all. And I don't think he wants to. Do you think, let me ask this question for everybody that's watching. Do you think Donald Trump is trying to start a race war? Because he calls the skinheads and all these other folks very fine people. But about this death, he's mentioned maybe twice, and that's because he was doing a launch of the space shuttle, or not a shuttle, but what is that? Whatever it was called.
It was a shuttle.
All right, a shuttle.
But again,
he's not. He hasn't yet to say really anything meaningful to the African Americans. And
he's not a person of substance. So if you're not a person of substance, you don't have anything meaningful to say. How can you? How can you?
So then my question is to the black conservatives and to Candace Owens and all these other folks that might be watching this. How can you vote for this man? He's definitely not a Christian.
See, you're wanting them to think as black people. They're not doing that. Okay? They are voting for what they so-called believe in. Period. Mm-hmm. They're not, their blackness doesn't come into question at all when it comes to Donald Trump. Not at all. So the question that you're asking is simple. They're voting for the candidate that they believe in, which is Donald Trump. So I don't expect them to do nothing no different than what they've been doing. Go on and vote for him. If that's what you're going to do, then that's what you're going to do. I think right now, we don't even need to worry about it. I think right now we need to be grooming Joe Biden, because he seems going to be the front runner. We need to be grooming him.
The only runner.
We need to be grooming him, telling Joe, like, hey, this is some stuff you need to be saying. This is some stuff you need to be talking about. I think he's missing opportunities to really get at Trump.
Right.
like I would be eating him alive right now. I mean,
Mhm.
eating him, I'd have been all over Twitter and stuff when he had that Bible up. So I mean, I'd have been, man, I'd have ate that up. I'd have turned into a straight comedian during that whole thing. I'd have been doing the TikTok clips and everything. But I mean, like,
But I'm inclined to agree with you with what you said. Was a couple of shows ago. It has to be about more than just beating Trump. You know
right.
what I'm saying? He really, now he's gonna have to come with something. I agree with you on that.
That's what I'm saying. He's already seen that people say they're gonna vote for him to get Trump out of office. Now make us feel comfortable about that.
Yeah.
Make us feel good about that. Make us not think that we are literally voting for the lesser of two evils. Give us something good. You know what I'm saying? And that's what we need to start grooming him with that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
See, man, I'd have ate that picture up, man. I'd have been all over Twitter. I'm talking about all on his account, tweeting stuff.
Oh my God.
I'm telling you. Like, I really think that he's missing out on some really good opportunities to eat this man alive.
This
Well,
man,
here's the deal with that, Jane. I already told y'all what 2 shows ago. Biden is going to be a one-term president. He's just getting Trump out of the seat and warming up the White House for Cuomo. I've already told you this. Mark my word again. He's just warming the seat up for Cuomo. If you watch Cuomo on CNN, watch a lot of the stuff he addressing. He don't have to address. He's the mayor of another city. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But he's coming out and making statements about it. He's campaigning without campaigning.
Right.
Why?
Yeah,
He's just keeping the seat warm for old Cuomo. That's all I'm gonna say.
You may be right, brother.
You may be right. All right, so for me personally, man, I was insulted with Mr. Donald Trump. People that on my page know I've already given that my thoughts, man. It's an empty man in front of empty church. He didn't go to pray. He didn't go to seek counsel. He didn't go to do nothing that a leader.
Wait, hold on a minute.
Oh, here we go.
You said he didn't go to pray.
No,
he didn't go to seek counsel.
He did not.
You
no, he's a man of God. That's what they said. They said he was a.
You said he was a Christian. Now go ahead.
I said he was a Christian. I ain't saying nothing about praying and seeking counsel and all that. You got a bunch of Christians that don't pray, don't read the Bible, don't say
his evangelical base said that he's a man of God.
Right. Paula White said that he was sent by God.
He was sent by the Lord Jesus.
I saw the light.
I mean, that might be the case, but nobody in their right mind is expecting Donald Trump to go anywhere and pray or seek counsel. If he seeks counsel, that's saying that he needs somebody's advice. The man has fired every advisor that he had.
Well, if he had seek counsel to begin with, a lot of his foot would not be in his mouth at this point.
That man seeking no counsel, that would be admitting he don't know something, and that ain't happening. Every person who has tried to give him advice, you out of here, buddy. Don't tell me nothing. I got this. That man, he ain't even seeking counsel from God. God don't know much as him.
Well, he said that he's done more for Christians than Jesus Christ.
Well, that's what he said.
Say what?
That's what he said.
Say what? Say huh?
He said he's done more for Christians than Jesus Christ.
That's what he said.
Hey,
right. That silence right there said it all.
Listen, if you gotta be somebody to even make a statement like that.
No, a fool can make that. A monkey can make that statement if he can talk.
And a foolish monkey made that statement. That's all I'm saying.
How many folks would open their mouth publicly and say something that's like that? I just, you know what? Trump 2020. Go and do your thing, dog. Go and do your thing, baby.
Well, I wish you was close. so I can slap all the taste out your mouth.
Go on and get it cracking. Like, I just, man, you know, this dude is, I don't know, man. He's phenomenal in a sense.
He's definitely
you can't make this type of stuff up, man. Like, I would love to be able to make a film that would unfold as Donald J. Trump's life. Like, and just some of the stuff that he says. Like, you can't write stuff like that, man.
You can't.
That's why he goes off script from his speeches, because you cannot write stuff like that.
The man needs to go. The man needs to go. He's a detriment to this country, man. He needs to go. I don't care if there's a train.
So that's the question. Which part of the country is he a detriment to? Because you got a bunch of folks that think he's the greatest thing that ever happened to the country.
That's a small group of people.
The greatest, I've heard him say, the greatest president ever, the greatest Republican ever.
Wow, really?
So it's all about.
That's Ronald Reagan. Who said he's the greatest Republican ever?
I've heard people put him above Ronald, baby.
Oh, those people are crazy.
Wow.
So my thing is, like we believe he's a detriment, that he's dangerous. A lot of people don't believe it, and for me, those are the people that ain't paying attention to his. See, this whole stuff that he's doing here, I've told you, doesn't really faze me. I'm paying attention to what he's doing overseas, because I need to make sure I don't need to build this bunker, man, and go ahead and get underground, because he's making a lot of folk mad. And I mean, I think, Steve, you said it. I mean, the dude got Switzerland mad at us, man. Like,
right.
Like Switzerland. Like, I mean, what? Like, how do you piss Switzerland off?
The neutralist country in the world. He got Switzerland.
The folks over there, man, ain't doing nothing to nobody, ain't bothering nobody, ain't said nothing. Like, and you got them speaking up, pissed off at us.
Over there making army knives. They ain't got time for
that. And chocolate.
But hey, look, here's a question that I have that I can throw in there. We know by popular vote he lost, but by electoral college he won.
Right.
Can we, or what do we need to do to get rid of the electoral college? Is that possible?
No.
Okay. Why?
I don't think so. I guess the reasons that they give for setting it up in the first place is no longer needed, but it benefits people when it needs to. You know what I'm saying? Some people, even, and this isn't just a Republican thing, even with Democrats, it can benefit them.
Right.
When they don't have a real strong candidate, those electoral votes count, as we saw with Donald Trump. So I don't think we'll ever get rid of it, because it's going to benefit both sides at some point. If you don't, because Donald Trump wasn't a strong candidate. He wasn't. We saw that with the popular vote. He wasn't. But that electoral college, though, because they had it in the right states, they had those electoral votes where it counted, he ends up being president. And that can go either way. So I think that, yes, it is true we don't need it anymore, but it ain't going nowhere.
Right, because it benefits.
Which is definitely the reason why our local elections become more important at this point. If you're somebody that really, believes in voting, I mean, it's the local elections, I think, where it's going to count most. And that's what we need to concentrate more on that. Vote for whoever you think is president, cool, but really start getting on these local, these mayors and these governors and these city council seats. And like in Alabama, we now know for sure we got to pay attention to the lieutenant governor, who that's going to be. We ended up with Kay Ivey in office off of a technicality, and we see where that got us. So we got to start paying attention to those types of elections. I'm definitely going to find out who's the lieutenant governor. We got to figure this stuff out, because You know, right now that lady there, like that lady, I told Steve, man, I don't even think Trump gonna claim her. That lady, man, is. I mean, it's embarrassing, man. Sometimes to hear her talk.
Yeah,
it really is, and it's like, man, this is who's representing this state. I mean, she's just. It's ridiculous. But those are the elections I think we got to start concentrating on. Those local guys, mayors. Our mayor here in Birmingham is, I will say, showing his coonery. Yes,
our mayor here
in Birmingham, yes.
He's doing what?
He's showing his coonery.
How so?
Well, so you start off okay by saying you're going to take down the monument, the Confederate monument. But now Lynn Park and Kelly Ingram Park are now fenced off because he does not want people protesting at either one of those places, and told people, if you want to protest, go to Patton Park. You can't dictate what people protest.
You can't, but what I think he's doing is protecting the monument, the civil. Which park is the civil rights next to the civil rights district?
Kelly Ingram. Protecting from who?
Well, we already said KKK already said they were going to deface, just like they were going to deface the monuments. No. So I think it's a combination of things. I can't hear you sitting up here talking about Randall Woodfin like that.
Well, he doesn't like Randall Woodfin, so you know.
I can't hear you talking about Randall. I can see the logic behind what he's saying. I can't have you out here tearing up this park, and I think it's more than
you cannot tell people where they can and cannot protest that when it's clear that our Constitution says that we can protest. So now you say, all right, well, you can't protest here. Go over to where the black folks at Patton Park and go protest over there.
Well,
that's not going to work.
I think he's saving downtown Birmingham from the situation we had too with all of that rioting.
I think it's strategic also. I mean, Tracy with 2 E's said that it's strategy behind it. I believe it because in Patton Park, there's really not much over there to tear up.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? If you have stuff downtown, you're going to have stuff to tear up. And having an area where you can tear up some fields, you have that. The only bad thing about that, if I'm thinking about where Patton Park is that you're closer to a residential area.
They're not going to tear up residential,
right? But I don't think Mayor Woodfin is.
So you're trying to tell me that if people want to riot and tear stuff up, those fences are going to stop that? Because their fences are only around those two parks. Okay. They didn't tear up the parks the first time. They tore up the buildings. So I don't see how that strategy even comes into play.
Well, it stops them. It alleviates a place for them to gather.
Hold on a minute. Wait a minute. Tracy said I sound like Carlos. Tracy, we going to fall out. We going to fall out now. Yeah, hold up. No.
Right, Erica. I
am not. Listen, my problems with Randall Woodfin go beyond this. Okay, go way beyond this. This right here, though, I don't see how you can't do that during this time. People were peacefully protesting. You had one night in Birmingham where people tore up some stuff. One night. After that, before they put the fences up, nobody tore up anything. So my thing is to do it now is simply telling the people we just don't want you here. Again, they didn't tear up the parks; they tore up buildings. So if I'm a person that wants to riot, those fences aren't stopping me.
Okay. Well, apparently people don't want to riot because the fences still stand. Strategy worked.
How?
Next.
Where did it work at? They didn't tear up the park in the first place.
Yeah. Okay.
So where did the strategy work at?
Okay.
I mean, I don't. If it's a strategy, then listen. All right. Let's say that that's true. Why wouldn't the mayor come out and say that then? Why wouldn't the mayor make a statement?
Didn't he say go to Patton Park? He said go to Patton Park.
He said go to Patton Park. He did not lay out a strategy. He did not come to the people and say this is why I'm doing this. So if y'all want to do something, go over here.
I don't think everything needs an explanation. If some things are self-explanatory, just like we just sat here and all came up to the same conclusion. It wasn't no need for him to lay that out. I'm putting fences around this park. The only other park close by that's open is wide open Patton Park.
What? The police say we don't have to explain why we're shooting tear gas at peaceful people.
Yeah,
so
they do.
If we're not going to hold people accountable, if we're not going to hold everybody accountable, then why even bother?
You're talking about two different things, player.
How? It's all government. It's all government. We have to hold everybody accountable.
I'm not telling you can't gather, but I would prefer if you gathered it in this big park out here where you got the room to stretch out and do whatever you need to do in this park.
And there's less to tear up.
And it's right. There's less to tear up. That ain't got nothing to do with nobody tear gassing nobody.
All that's saying to me is that the black man gets a pass for doing the same thing other people do. I don't believe in that.
We get a pass?
Yeah, he gets a pass for doing whatever. If we're not gonna hold him accountable, why are we even talking about?
Yeah, I ain't holding him accountable for that. Player. I don't think it's going to be held accountable for. You beating the dead horse on that one, player. Go Woodfin.
So he gets to do whatever he wants.
Woodfin is my N word for life. You know why? Because he got that statue down. He said, "Give me 48 hours to get this statue down."
Get the statue
he
down.
Got it down. He got it down in 24.
Mario, you think that was his idea out of the blue?
I didn't say it was his idea.
Shut up.
He got it done.
He got it done. I ain't say it was his idea.
Why did it take so long to get it done? They've been talking about that statue for years.
Because it was I think it was more of a financial issue on the city.
None of that changed. They still got fined. They still got fined that same 25.
I got it.
Right, but the money came. The money came.
Come on, Steve.
You know what I'm saying? They had there were people that donated to that cause. They said there's gonna be a fine. Here's some money, and so they got the money. They tore it down.
That's it, right there.
Wow.
So it didn't come out of the city's pocket.
Huh?
That didn't come out of the city's pocket.
The city's being sued. What do you mean?
Right, but the money's there to pay for it. Dude. That's what I'm keep. They've got the money.
So City of Birmingham never had $25,000 to deal with that statue.
They did, I'm sure, but they didn't want to.
They were able to put $96 million into the police force to set up roadblocks and so-called community police. I got you.
You just don't like Woodfin, and just like you supported Trump earlier on, you gonna hold to your stance on Woodfin.
Everybody accountable.
Woodfin is all right with me.
All right, guys. Moving on, guys. Let's talk about our girl up in DC.
My girl. Speaking of mayors, huh?
Oh, hold on. Before we go, Tracy, if you want to know more about the Electoral College, go to Wikipedia. There's great articles out there for you to read and understand about how the Electoral College works. Okay, so let's talk about our girl up in DC. She doing her thing. I mean, she has changed the name of the plaza to Black Lives Matter Plaza, meaning that Donald Trump now works and sleeps at 1600 Black Lives Matter
Plaza. My girl. My girl. You all right with me? That's Keisha right there, boy. That's Keisha right there. I'm calling her Keisha because she's black.
Her name is Muriel Bowser.
Keisha.
And she has renamed the streets. That takes some big cojones. I've never seen a woman with that big cojones in my life.
She ain't scared of Trump. She ain't scared of Trump. My girl, what you said, Eric, the fine style dude? Okay, I got you, babe.
Anybody else want to comment on that?
The Black Lives Matter movement. I love her. Mm-hmm. I wish I had somebody in my family she could marry so I could say she belongs. She's a part of the Atlanta family. However, but Doc, like you said, that took some cojones. That was a one of these right here to Trump. You know what I'm saying? That was yours to Trump.
I mean,
in DC. I ain't mad at her, man. I love it. I love it. I love it. Hats off to what's her name again?
Muriel Bowser.
We just gonna call her Keisha. Hats off to Keisha. Hats off to DC Keisha.
Mayor Bowser. So I don't know. I'm sure everybody knows by now. I'm gonna try to find some pictures of how they painted the street, one of the streets. And I don't know if Alan's still on here. I would have got him on here explaining to us exactly where this was. Alan, you still on here with us, man? But
I saw him come in.
I saw him come in. He might have left. But they have painted a street in DC, Black Lives Matter.
I thought that was the street leading up to the White House.
I think so. I'm not certain. It's been a while since I've been home. So
that's what I heard. That's what I heard as well.
But they went out and they painted the street Black Lives Matter, and then she walked on that street.
You got a picture of it?
Of the street? Yes. Hold on, give me
yes. If you got yes, we must get that up, boy. Woo. I felt all my black power rise up when I saw that. I was like, yes, sir. What? I did it.
Let me try to find something here. All right, this is close enough. Let me try to get it here.
You gonna find that name?
I'll find it up.
It is. Everybody saying it is. What was the question that you asked? Yep. There we go.
Yes, sir. So I don't know. This is I think this is 16th Street, which is one of the main thoroughfares.
It says, look, Donald Trump now lives at 1600 Black Lives Matter Boulevard.
Yes,
This came across my phone.
So I believe the protest is doing something. Here's a picture of the mayor with her mask on, walking down 16th Street toward the White House.
That's her.
That's her right there.
Wow, look at what that mayor's doing. Wow.
Let me see if I can get this on camera when you pull that off, Steve. I want y'all.
All right, I'm gonna stop sharing.
Look, I can't share it. I'm just gonna hold my camera to the phone. That picture says, "If I got something for your ass, was a person."
Right. I saw that.
Yeah, I like that, man.
My girl. I ain't mad at her at all, man. I'm not upset at all.
Oh man. All right, guys.
Yeah,
so
it is.
One last thing I want to talk about, man, as we're starting to come to a close here. What's up, McLeonard? What's going on? Monique, I didn't get to say hello to you. Hey, sis.
That's my sister and my brother, Mac Leonard.
What do you mean by any votes for VP, Miss Monique? I don't understand what you mean by that.
Do we have? Well, nobody's called any votes for VP. Who do you think is going to be vice president?
So let's talk about that. What was it? Klobuchar? She was the one in the running, also, right? It was Klobuchar that was getting vetted, and it was
Democratic running.
Yeah.
Okay.
Amy Klobuchar, and I think they were vetting our girl from Atlanta.
They already did away with Amy.
Keisha?
They already did away with Amy.
They did away with Amy, and I knew that was coming because when this thing popped off in Minneapolis, Minnesota, she had the opportunity to fix that,
right?
And when she was working locally there, and she didn't, and so now I knew they was gonna get rid of her for that. So I know what's her name in Atlanta that ran for governor.
Stacey
Abrams. And I think she's in the running. She's being vetted also.
Mm-hmm.
All right, guys. So if y'all got a moment, this is about, I don't know if I'm gonna play the whole thing, but this is Mr. Wilson. He owns owns Wilson Academy over in Georgia, and he's answering some questions on what we need to do next. After the protests are over, after what should be our next steps, and I think this is really important. to listen to, guys. I'm gonna share the screen of it. And can we listen to a little bit of it, guys? Is that all right with you?
Yeah. When we get done, Tracy asked me a question that I would love to answer.
Well, go ahead. Answer the question.
Answer
She asked me, why don't I like her mayor?
Your mayor.
Our mayor. So Tracy, let me address that. Okay, I started off a big Woodfin fan. I did. I have taken pictures of Mayor Woodfin. I have taken pictures with him. I've talked to him personally, and a lot of the things that he said to me, a lot of the things that he ran on, he did the opposite. And regardless of whatever it is, when you do that, as far as I'm concerned, then at that point, you've shown me that I can't trust you. Okay? This situation here that's going on now, Mayor Woodfin has not, in my opinion, has not stepped up and addressed the people. And in this manner, in manners the way that other cities have done. Okay, he put up the fencing to protect the parks or whatever, and that's cool. But my thing is, like I just said, the rioting took place one night downtown. Those fences aren't going to stop that if people decided they wanted to do that again. I think in situations, these type of tense situations, when you start dictating to people where they can do things, that is going to cause problems. Now it hasn't, and I'm glad that it hasn't. I'm glad people have just continued to protest peacefully at their spot and then, go home and nothing more has happened. I'm glad for that. But what I'm saying is that you can easily light a spark by doing stuff like this. There's just been other things over the years that Mayor Woodfin has not done. His policing tactics, the some of the things he started didn't help. And I know a lot of people disagree with me on that, but that's a whole nother show. We got to do a show about that too, though, Steve.
All right.
Also,
right.
I just don't. I don't believe him when he talks anymore. Like I said, I was a big Woodfin fan when he was running, and I mean really big. Like he was a majority of the people understand why he did. Well, the reason why I don't understand that, Tracy, is because my thing is, if once again in this tense situation, now in an everyday thing, no, Mario, I agree. He doesn't necessarily have to lay out everything that he's doing. But in this type of situation, as tense as it is, I think it's a pretty good idea to simply just address the people. Hey, I'm putting up these fences because I don't want nobody to mess these parks up. That's why I'm doing this. If y'all want to protest, there's other areas for you to go to be able to protest and do your thing. I think suggesting Patton Park was a mistake. We all know what goes down in Patton Park. It's a party area. It's where all the black folks be at. I don't think his wording in that is not right. My thing is simple. Make it clear. We're asking for accountability and transparency with police. We're asking for accountability and transparency with everybody else. Our mayor is no different. He shouldn't be any different. I'm not saying kill the man. I'm not saying don't vote for him. I'm not saying he's a bad dude. I'm saying that right now, the way he's handling this situation and the way he's handled other situations just is not for par for what's going on right now. This is a situation where complete transparency is going to be needed if you are really trying to de-escalate situations and trying to calm people down. That's what mayors and governors have done all across the country. All across the country. You just said, the mayor of Minneapolis, you just said you didn't think how them people treated him was a good thing. Why? Because from the beginning he addressed it, and I agree. In the beginning,
well, that happened in his city. That ain't had any, that happened in his city. So that was,
exactly. But what was that Tracy that comment Tracy made? So you want him to do things the way you would do them.
I'm with you, Jay.
I don't. It's not about Tracy. It's not about me. It's about what we're asking for. If we're gonna ask for it from one person or for one group of people, then it has to go for everybody. That's all I'm saying. If we're gonna hold people accountable, why can't we hold everybody accountable? I've said that when it comes to the presidential election, when we got to talking about when everybody was just riding Joe Biden, you know what I'm saying?
There you go.
You can't let your plan out because the wrong people will get there and mess things up. All right, I'm gonna leave that alone because right now we just got a bunch of excuses. But y'all go ahead.
Okay. Go, Steve.
I think James, you have a point, but the thing is, I think you started off the wrong way. You called a man a coon. You're gonna keep you're gonna piss people off. So your point got lost in the coon statement. Now we're gonna call people.
Is Candace Owens not a coon?
Candace Owens is all the way coon.
Why can't we call her that though?
Say what?
Candace Owens is not the mayor of anything. I fully support Randall Woodfin. He did nothing to me. But you have your reasons for not supporting Randall Woodfin.
He hasn't done anything to me either. Donald Trump hasn't done anything to me.
I
live my life.
He's caused a lot of division in our country, which
he hasn't done anything to me. But he hasn't done anything to me or you.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
We're gonna beat this horse and
has your life changed since Donald Trump has been in office? You still make your money, you still do good, you still a father, a husband. You still are that good stuff, ain't you? So my question going out, Steve, and this is what I want people to tell me.
Okay.
When it comes to politics, how is it that some people affect us but others don't? They're all politicians. They're all for the same thing. So if it would seem like to me, my local officials would affect me more than Donald Trump would. But it seems that we want to hold Trump accountable, but nobody else.
This is a local conversation we need to have, because ain't nobody else affected by what Woodfin is doing here in Birmingham. So I'm saying that to say we can have that conversation, but I don't think we necessarily need to have it this long on air. But that's just my opinion, because ain't nobody else around outside of Birmingham affected by Woodfin.
Well,
so are we affected by Trump?
Inadvertently, yes.
Yes.
There is no doubt. I mean, come on. I mean, if when you say we're not affected by national politics and policies, it'll eventually trickle down. But we also know that and here's the deal, guys.
Hold on, I'm trying to check my bank account to see if Trump took some money out or something. Hold on.
Go for it. I mean, nothing from nothing leaves nothing. But but there are policies that will affect us. There are things that may not affect us directly, but we are affected, man. I mean, it's just like the dude that makes food in China. We can't get some of his rice now because of decisions that were made by Donald Trump, that were made because of COVID. So now rice prices will go up. I can't buy my son.
Let me check my ProSource invoices real quick. Make sure they're okay.
I can't go buy my son an Xbox or a PlayStation. Why?
Why?
Because there's none in stock nowhere. Because the trade has been down because of COVID. And those were decisions that were made by a president who had a plan in place, a playbook, if you will.
Man, let me tell you something. We don't even have to talk no more. Steve can't go buy a PlayStation. Shut it down.
Shut it down.
PlayStation, baby.
Shut it down, because I can't buy my PlayStation. You let me finish my statement. I can't go buy I can't go buy a PlayStation or Xbox because the trade is off. So I was affected by Trump. So I mean, to say that some of his policies don't affect us immediately, not necessarily so. On down the line it will. And then here's the important thing for everybody that's listening and watching: Your local politicians are very important. You have to pay attention, like James and Mario said. I'm not disagreeing. I'm making you a point. You better.
Y'all just fired me up for saying that.
No, you went about it the wrong way.
What's the way?
Anyway, so your local government is really important, guys. You got to know who your governor is. You got to know who your lieutenant governor is. You got to know who your AG is. You got to know all these things to make qualified decisions. I'm saying it better so people can understand instead of being pissed off at James. Does everybody get it now? But you can't say that because of Trump, we're not affected. That's not the truth either. As it trickles up, it trickles down. Okay? He quiet now. He quiet now, right? And let's talk about. I mean, come on now. Never mind. I'll leave the mask alone. I'll leave the mask alone. The N95 mask that we mostly get from China, but we ain't gonna talk about why there's a scarcity of those now. Those PPE. But all right, but that's not affected by Trump. All right, so now let's listen to this brother on what we should do.
Thank you.
Let's see what else everybody else that said.
Sounded like Carlos.
So now, y'all want to talk about Candy Owens?
Hold up, Tracy.
See,
Listen, I love you, but I've done a lot for people, not just myself. The reason why I was talking about my bank account is because I made the statement that Trump isn't affecting me. Now, believe me, and if I need to go and get documentation and lay out on this show what I've done for people and what I do for people, then I can. I don't, because I don't put people's business out there like was done to me when I was homeless and when I was struggling. But if I need to lay my track record out there for anybody that's watching the show, in case you need to know or you have any doubts, I'll be more than happy to do that. But go ahead, Steve.
All right. So what do we need to do after the protests are over? All right, guys. So
who is that?
This guy is Mr. Wilson. He is and he'll tell you who he is. He's over the Wilson Academy over in Atlanta, Georgia. He's got some very good information. Let's check it out.
very good information done very eloquently.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Founder of the Wilson Academy.
Can you hear that?
The riots that have taken place all over the country and now all over the world are inevitable. And contrary to the opinions of some, the riots are both effective and necessary. The problem is it's not a sustainable path to what we want. But then what next? What are we supposed to do? That's what this message is about, what we're going to do. Young people, my college students, my high school students, you're ready to act. You're ready to fight. But no one's listening to you. They just keep telling you to go home. But I hear you, and we have a plan. In order to find a solution, we must first understand why this is happening. The reason that officers of the law and private citizens acting as if they're officers of the law continue to murder us is because we can offer no consequence. For example, the reason you don't see Jewish people being murdered by police is because the Jewish community can provide economic consequences. They own things collectively. They're well invested in the media and the law, and they've built a strong community by focusing on exclusive internal growth and wealth building. But when members of the Black community are murdered by white officers or vigilantes, we peacefully protest, focus on whatever election is upcoming, and ultimately, there are no convictions for the criminals. There's something that we missed about how the civil rights movement was effective. Protesting was just the beginning. It was to unify the people and bring attention to the issue. But the next step was always economic action, boycotting, investing in our communities. Then that economic action is what forced legislation.
This is good.
The reason our efforts continue to fail is because we first of all keep asking for change instead of forcing it. Secondly, because we keep skipping a critical step in the process. So what do we want? Well, in the short term, we demand justice. In the long term, we demand reform. But we must be specific if we are to hold our nation accountable. So we demand three things. 1, We demand convictions and equitable and appropriate prison time for all officers involved in the murders of Breonna Taylor and George Floyd and all parties involved in the lynching of Ahmaud Arbery. 2, we demand legislation that ensures independent review of public safety officers. And 3, we demand a modification to the standards by which officers can be prosecuted. I'm sure you've heard people say, if you want change, get to the polls. Now, I'm not suggesting voting is useless, but the reality is voting will not solve our problems. In fact, we cannot allow ourselves to become distracted by political affiliations. The only way to get the change we seek is to show strength both economically and physically. So first, let's address physical strength. It is both irrational and un-American for us to continue to be met with force and not respond in kind. This is why we need all able Black Americans to exercise their constitutional rights and legally acquire a firearm.
Get you a gun.
Perhaps Ahmaud Arbery would be alive right now had he been able to defend himself against the thugs who lynched him. And under Georgia's stand your ground laws, well, he would have been within his legal rights.
Right.
To all my gangbangers, my Bloods, my Crips, GDs, folk, everybody, I'm asking you to help us protect our communities from the white supremacist groups who would harm us. You are already armed and you're not afraid to die. I hope that you see fit to call a truce and unite against a greater common enemy in order to protect our children, our mothers, our sisters, aunties, and grandmothers. Now we must address how we fight economically. America doesn't particularly care about Black life. If it did, we wouldn't still be facing what we're facing right now. What America does care about is Black dollars. So
Black
we have
dollars.
to start speaking America's language. Effective immediately, we will only buy food from Black-owned restaurants. This does not apply to grocery stores, as we don't feel there are enough Black-owned grocery stores nationwide at this point to accommodate the initiative. However, there are many grocery items you can find on sites like WeBuyBlack.com. Now, our Black-owned restaurant initiative means that you will need to avoid many of your favorite restaurants, but you will discover new Black-owned favorites. And you must ask yourself what's more important. Understand that this is only phase 1 of a larger plan. We will implement phase 2 in the weeks to come. But this is something that everyone can do. So what's the point? And why will this work? According to both Nielsen and the CDC, Black people eat more fast food than anyone. By diverting our billions of dollars, we will accomplish 2 things. 1, change is not free. Supporting only Black restaurants keeps our money in our communities, money we can ultimately leverage to create the changes we all want to see. And 2, it uses our money we're already spending anyway, to create powerful billionaire allies. These companies will do what is necessary to get our dollars back. And if that means helping us to meet our objectives, well, then that's what they'll do. There are a few important notes to make when concerning this plan. This is not a boycott. We are not punishing white businesses. We are simply consumers who are making a choice to exclusively support Black restaurants in the strategic interest of justice and reform.
I love it.
Please note that we are exclusively supporting Black-owned restaurants, not minority-owned. The terms Black and minority are not interchangeable. So, to my Chinese, Korean, Arabic, and Indian restaurant owners, we have nothing against you personally. But if we don't do this now, there will be none of us left to buy your products anyway.
I love it. I love it.
That's good.
I love it.
It's a lifestyle change, Steve.
It's a lifestyle change.
It's a lifestyle change. That's
You're
going to
absolutely right.
We have to change our lifestyle in order, our mindset, and in order to change your lifestyle.
Dude, I'm glad you said that, because that's what it's going to take, my brothers and sisters. It's going to take a mindset change in order for you to say, okay. And he says it later on down, and I'll share it on our page, guys.
Yeah.
But sometimes our sisters and brothers, we have our businesses and our business acumen and how we treat people. Our customer service is horrible sometimes. He said that, and when we go and say that's why I don't go to Black people. We all said it when we got horrible treatment at a Black place. The thing is, like he says, go to the manager and say, hey man, you might want to look, hey woman or man, you might want to change these customer service aspects of your business. It would probably help. It might help you more, and or just don't go to that business anymore. But but don't say I'm never going to go to another black business, because then all black businesses are not the same.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I love this because one, me and my wife, we are going to go get next week. We are going to get our gun license, Mario. We are we both gonna go to the courthouse, and we're gonna go get our licenses. And this is what we need to do, black people. This is what we need to do. No shame in our game. We go get yourself a gun. Go learn how to use that gun. That's what's gonna be next for us. And then let's start supporting our black businesses. Now I know that T.I. has July 7th slated for a blackout, but that's just only one day. And I also know that Boyce Watkins has one, which is also over a set of a week or so. But it's going to change a mentality in us, guys, that we have to seek out and find black businesses, guys. We have to do it. It is very important that we support ourselves. Do you know, I think I read on Nielsen that the consumers is 1.7 or 1.8 trillion dollars is the black dollar.
Right.
The black dollar is 1.7 or 8 trillion dollars.
Trillion.
Man, do you know how much power that is? Do you know how much influence that is? Man, we can affect elections that way. We can affect a nation. We can affect states that way. We can affect cities that way if we put that black dollar into power. We are tragic consumers, everybody. And if we use that dollar and make it something of power instead of just just buying dumb junk, man, we can have a voice in elections. We can have a voice in government. We can have a voice about what the police department is doing to our people.
Right.
Because protesting works, rioting is a voice, but that dollar speaks louder than anything else.
I agree.
Dollar speaks louder than anything. Anybody want to say anything else, guys?
Are we about to close up?
Yeah, we're about to shut down, man. This is going to be our lightning rounds.
Okay. I'll say this in closing. When this all went down, when George Floyd was murdered, I'm going the long way to make a point. When George Floyd was murdered and I saw that video for myself, I got mad like I had never been mad. I ain't gonna say like I'd never been mad before, but something rose up in me that was a different kind of mad. And I'm using the term mad for a reason, because mad, it's a difference between angry and mad. And what do I mean? Angry is akin to insanity. Angry is right. You know, it's akin to insanity. And this thing really affected me to the point that I couldn't sleep for a while. It had my mind reeling in a way. Just, you know, all of those three incidents that happened back to back to back. It just had my mind reeling to a point where I couldn't sleep. I was going to work mad at the white world. And I work in a customer service based industry, you know. And so, and listen to the term I'm using mad. There is the Incredible Hulk. If those of us who watch Marvel Comics, and you know where I'm going with this, Steve. Incredible Hulk. We know who the Incredible Hulk is. David Banner turns into this big hulking creature when he gets angry. And so in the Avengers, they needed the Hulk to get angry so he could turn it. They needed David Banner to get angry so he could turn into the Hulk to defeat this insurmountable, you know, enemy from outer space.
Right.
And they asked him when he did it, you know, they asked him, you know, how can you do that at will? How he said, because I'm always angry.
Right.
I'm always angry. Even when he's David Banner, this meek and mild person, he's still angry. That's how he's able to change into this big hulking creature that can destroy insurmountable foe. And I say to us as a Black community, this thing is going to cool off at some point. We need to stay a little angry, because anger, you can focus. You can focus anger.
Yeah.
You cannot focus mad. Mad is insanity.
Mm.
Angry bubbles just under the surface and motivates you. You can focus anger. So I say to us as a Black community, just like my man said on the video, there's going to be a point after this is over that we need to start paying attention to what happens, where we move next. We need to channel that anger and focus it in the areas that we need to focus in to get to the next level as Black people in this country. No more talk. I'm done.
James?
Yeah, dude made some pretty good points. I think in this country, along with the, buying black and redirecting our money to other areas, we still have to concentrate and give some attention to the legislation about what's going on with how the police operate and how they're prosecuted. There's a lot of protections for them that was blatant when George Floyd was killed, because if either one of us had been on a video killing a man, we wouldn't have went home at all. And so those type of protections we've got to get away with. We've got to do away with them. We've got to have people in place that are going to not just voice what's going on, but actually try to do something. And this is what I mean about our local politicians and elections and stuff. There's things that go on locally that can be stopped, before they gain national attention, before a lot of stuff that's gaining attention now that people are looking at because of the rioting and because of the protesting. This stuff was going on for years. And right now, a lot of things are coming to light because we're kicking up some dust, and which is cool. But that just has to show you that the people that we've had in place haven't been paying attention to what's really been going on. And that's the issue. None of our city council members or anybody said a whole lot about this girl being juggernauted into the ground at Walmart by a police officer. Yeah. For me, that's a problem. And I'm not saying that they can do something about it right away, but that should show you that, because once again, you or I would get an assault charge if we were on video doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So my thing is, the police have certain protections that we got to go back and look at. You know what I'm saying? Now, cool. If it's something that they're doing in the line of duty and there's a threat and you got to neutralize the threat, okay, cool. That's their job to do that part. But in too many cases, George Floyd, 100%, and others, there's no threat. And this stuff is still being done. So I think we have to redirect our money. And we've said that on the show, a million times. But we've got to figure out how we are going to get these officials to get this stuff in place, man, and to start looking at stuff before it gets to this point. They need to look at every case. It shouldn't come to a point to where we got to tear something up for them to finally see, oh yeah, this has been going on a while. Now we stand with you. Well, man, what y'all think Kaepernick was saying? What y'all thought he was doing? He kept saying he was kneeling for police brutality. He kept telling y'all that. He kept saying it. And y'all paid the man no attention whatsoever. I mean, so it's like, if this is why when people come to me about the rioting, man, I just look at them crazy. Because it's like, man, we've been telling this stuff for years, and nothing has happened. Nothing. Now, all of a sudden, because y'all see we'll tear it up. Now, all of a sudden, y'all want to do something. Well, we got to get people, man, that's going to be able to stop this stuff before it gets to this point. nobody wants their city on fire. Nobody wants their city tore up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So we got to have people that's going to be able to recognize when we bring this stuff up before it gets to this point, do something.
Mm-hmm.
We've got to rein in the police. And Mario, that's what I think a lot of people think that taking some of their funding away would do.
Mm-hmm.
Would rein them in a little bit. Now that's not a one. I definitely don't think that's a one size fit all type deal. I think it's definitely something that you have to go, each police department and kind of, and see what's happening.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And just kind of go from there. But because we do need the police. I think, Steve, that video you showed with old girl jumping on the police, I think we need more of that.
Mhm.
I think we need to get back to how the Black Panthers did it with our own patrols riding around, policing the police. In some of these poor Black neighborhoods where they tend to harass more. And I think we got to get back to things like that right now. I definitely think that we need to start looking out for each other.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm not in no way, shape, or form am I saying letting criminal activity get by. But if we spot criminal activity, report it, make sure the police come out and arrest people and take people to jail, not kill them on the street. So if if we see Ray trying to rob somebody, let's make sure Ray go to jail. Ray behind need to be in jail somewhere.
Right.
But he need to get there though.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The police don't need to carry out judgments on the street.
Right.
And I think that's more of a function that we need to start making the police go, because right now they're doing everything. We calling them, they coming, and they're making decisions based off of what they feel or what they think at that particular time. People are emotional. Humans are emotional, period. You got a guy had a bad day at the house. Him and his wife just got into an argument. He pissed off. He coming to work with that same mentality. So Ray might fool around and end up shot because this man pissed off at his wife.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We've got to use the police for a particular function and then go from there. But other than that, man, what dude said was really on point. I like a lot of it.
Okay.
We've definitely just got to get Black businesses that can offer some services. Sad fact is, customer service is
right.
People are concerned with customer service. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you ain't gonna be able to do away with that. Some people just ain't having it. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna go to one business. If that business was shoddy, like you said, I ain't gonna know Black businesses no more. Black people ain't gonna. We got to get out of that mentality, but unfortunately, I think that's something that's gonna have to be worked on. Because I've been guilty of that myself, but then having to turn around and say, "All right, let's try this again."
All right, so guys, as we close, we get ready to get out of here. I want to show two things, and I'll be done. I don't really have much to say. Everybody's kind of said what I was going to say. Here's a couple websites you guys can go to. And then I want to leave you with one thing you can need to look at.
Oh man, I forgot to give you. You can't pull up. Remember, I sent you a link to the Black gun maker, the guy who makes the ARs, the Black gun manufacturer.
Did you text that to me? Did you send me on?
I might have just
Black.
See if you can find it. So there's WeBuyBlack.com. Everybody, if you're trying to find, they got a lot of stuff out here that are made by Black owners. Go to WeBuyBlack.com.
Yes, I'm adding
all kind of stuff out here that you can search for, guys. Jewelry, purses, care, get that beard going. You know what I'm saying? Stuff for the kids, handbags, watches.
Hey, man, I see him.
Yeah, right. And so, also, guys, there's also go to. I want to stop sharing that, and I want to share another one. Is trying to find somewhere to eat, guys. We don't have to go to McDonald's and all that. We have Black restaurants. You can go in here. You can put in this location, and they'll show you where you can go. There's some crabs in Miami, Florida. These are all black owned. This is in Brooklyn, New York, Los Angeles. Here's one in Homewood, Alabama.
What
Emily's
is it?
pound cake, guys.
Huh?
Emily's heirloom pound cake, Homewood,
Oh, I gotta
Alabama.
go see Emily, man. I've been feeding for some pound cake for the longest.
Yeah.
Hey, we got here in Birmingham. You got Jake's Soul Food. You got Rib It Up. What else? Something. What is it? Your mama's.
Yeah, your mama's.
Your mama's.
Eugene's
Sweet
hot.
tea.
Yeah. Eugene's hot chicken, all that, man. So
There's plenty of black restaurants.
so guys.
There's definitely plenty of black restaurants. Steve, the guys, his company is called Civilian Force Arms.
Okay.
He sells his guns on a website called Impact Guns.
Civilian what?
Civilian Force Arms. This dude is he's pretty dope, man. He's a gun manufacturer.
He's black owned.
Yeah, he's black. He's a black guy. He sells his guns on. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So here's his website, everybody, if you want to check that out. Civilian Force Arms.
It came right up in my feed too.
Look at the stuff out of stock. Buy it up, man.
This item is no longer available. So black people are armed.
Ario, you know more about this stuff, man. Any of them are those like some good guns, some are they
they look to be well built. The true test of it is to take it out to the range. But what I can see is I'm looking at his pricing. By his pricing, these are not entry-level weapons. These are anything above $800, you've moved into midline.
Okay.
So $600 to $800 for an AR is entry to intermediate to right at the beginning of intermediate. Once you cross over 800, you have intermediate all the way up until about I would say to about $1,800. You know, 800 to maybe $1,800. Those are your midline weapons, and then 2,000 and above. You know, you really getting into some high end weaponry. But he has a lot of. I'm looking at his pricing. By his pricing, he believes in his product.
And his product. Okay,
I don't mean that in a bad way.
Right.
I know what you're saying.
These are not entry level weapons.
I got you.
And you should believe in any product that you're selling, guys.
Right.
So, Mario, real quick, what is a good entry level weapon for somebody, other than just a pistol? You know what?
What are you using it for? Home defense or to take with you?
Home defense.
Home defense. Are you if you're looking for a handgun, semi-automatic handgun? The best bang for your buck, in my opinion, is the Taurus G2 or the Taurus G3. They are $300. They're in the $300 range.
Okay.
I think the G2 is under $300, but the difference in the G2 and G3 is the size. G2 is a compact. I carry a G2 as a compact weapon. G3 is slightly bigger, but it's still concealable. As far as an AR-15, if you're looking for an AR-15 for home defense, I would say look on Palmetto State Armory.
Who?
If you're looking to stay in the $600 to $800 range for an AR-15. By all means, once you get into AR-15s and you know what you're looking at, I'm going to buy a gun from this guy.
And what's it called? What's the site?
Palmetto State Armory. PALLMETTO. Palmetto.
That sounds about right. State Armory. Okay, there.
State Armory.
Well, guys, we are past our hour and 30-minute mark. Want to thank everybody for watching, man. It's been a long show tonight. We getting longer and longer every show.
Time, man.
Well, that's because there's so much going on right now, man. It's-
Right.
So, guys, want to thank you all for watching. I know many of you have come in and gone. Tracy for 2 weeks. Thank you, Miss Monique. Thank you, Miss Keisha. Thank you, and all the folks that's watching. It's been a Three Black Guys show. We will check you guys out later, man. Be blessed.
Later.
Stay safe. Go vote. Buy black. We out.
Yes.
See y'all.
Yes. In the face.